All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. Happy Monday. Jennifer, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. I don't even know what we're talking about today. So the last two episodes, I know we just kind of brainstormed some
hmm
ideas, and then we were like, let's just hit record, whatever. The last couple episodes we did were about our meetings. And so we're just going to continue on with sort of what we have coming
hmm
in the pipeline for Hello over the next few months, the
Yeah.
next quarter, I
hmm
would say, that we have laid out. And yeah, we'll just jam on that a bit. But what do you have for opening take? Anything?
I do.
Oh,
Prepped and ready. Not really. I thought
let's
about it.
go.
I want to
I
talk.
was going to make it. It's not an opening take. I was going to make a tea and I forgot, and then we hit record.
Oh,
That's okay.
okay.
Go for it.
I'm going to talk about snow because for those of you that maybe don't live in New England or where it snows, you probably have other things that might get in the way of your daily activities. But for the February of this year, of 2025 in New England, we're getting snow all the time. And it's a little tough when you have to work and move clients, and it can be frustrating. And it's a lot of gray time, and you kind of got to go with it. So, one of our staff this morning, we have another snowstorm coming in this week, and she was like, "What are we doing about Thursday?" And it's only Monday, right? So, the part of where we live, and it's where I was born and raised, so I don't really know anything else for other people's weather, is even though a snowstorm's coming, it's Monday, it's supposed to be killer on Thursday, maybe 12 inches, whatever. It really don't know if that's going to happen until probably like Wednesday night. So you kind of have to have patience. If you go in on Monday and you move everybody from Thursday because you have a snowstorm potential, and the way February is kind of looking for snow, we're going to get a lot of it. You might wake up Thursday and you didn't need to move anybody. So I think New England, snow, February, you got to learn patience. To me, when Wednesday comes around, I will look at my schedule. I'll see where the weather storm is at, and then reach out and see what makes sense for me, for my family, and we go from there. From a business standpoint, we've had two snowstorms back to back last week, and the staff will reach out like, "Are we closing?" We don't close. What we do is we allow the individual, if you want to work and your clients want to come in and you don't mind driving, then go for it. And then we have a protocol of how we make sure that what they should do to make sure the clients are coming in and whatever, and that they have our support. Todd went out on Sunday to make sure, salon was open and everybody was ready to go. But not everything has to just close. And if it did, it would be detrimental in February that we would be closed a good amount of the days, it looks like so far this month. So I think it's patience. It's learning how to maybe reach out to your clients and have a conversation, what's going to be best for you, and that you're driving that train. Last Thursday, we had a remote day for 3 kids. So it didn't really make sense for me to go in the salon for a couple people when I could be better utilized here at home with our 3 children and enjoy the day. So on my day off this week, I went in and I got a few clients in to make up for it. I think it's the more you can roll with it, have patience for the storms, and really, I guess, lay out what is important to you. It will make it less stressful when these things hit your plate or these snowstorms are coming your way. So hope that helps.
Yeah, the only time we'll really close is if there's like a state of emergency or the governor or whoever's like, stay off the roads,
Correct.
please.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad or something like that. Other than that, we leave the power up to our stylist because that's what we do for pretty much everything else. They have control over their schedule. They have a say on, when it comes to things like promotions. We obviously walk them through because we want to set them up for success. But I don't think it's something that'll ever get remembered though, because every time it snows, it's, are we closing?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we live in New Hampshire, and like you're saying, Jen, we can't just shut down businesses because we got a few inches of snow. Now, if people aren't comfortable or they don't have a vehicle that can make it through the snow, which is weird because it's going to snow here. We live in New Hampshire, so then that's a different story. Like, I don't have a problem with that. And again, if your day cancels and you have like one, like you said, you had like one client or something that was like, I'm still coming in, which sounds good, but then those people always cancel last minute anyways.
Right.
So
by the time they go clean off their car and realize how bad it is, they're like, just kidding. And I'm like, I've been sitting here for an hour. So
I've been waiting on you.
So you again, it's that day I was like, it didn't make sense for me to go in for a haircut and then have a gap for someone else when I could easily just put them in a place that made more sense. And I think that's, taking the leadership approach. And our goal is to raise hair pros under Hello Hair Co. that are mindful and can think and make decisions and not like kind of just always rely on everyone else to make them for them.
All right, I have two opening takes.
Okay.
One, this happened to me over the weekend. So we alternate Saturdays for the most part. Sometimes we're in together. So it was my Saturday on. I'm at the salon cutting hair, and a client asked their stylist if I worked every other Saturday or alternated shifts with you so that I could get away from you. And I thought it was kind of funny at first. And then I thought about it on the drive home, and I was like, I actually kind of feel sad for that person because they just assume that people are miserable in their marriage. And I actually said, so the employee that pointed it out to me was like, the last person that would want to get away from Jen would be Todd. Like if I had to think about it. And I was like, yeah, I picked her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just a weird thing. And I know that some people don't have great relationships, but maybe you should work on that. I don't know. I don't even really know my point of sharing that. It's just, I guess a lot of people are willing to accept that like things just kind of suck. And so if they're doing that with their marriage or relationship, then they have to be doing that like with their job or other things in their life.
That individual client does come from, he must have had some bad stuff because whenever marriage or dating or relationships comes up, he's very negative.
Yeah, so that's just too bad. And I don't think the world's all that bad. I think things are going good, and people will look around and they're like, well, I keep seeing all this bullshit on social media lately that's like in these divisive times. And I'm like, shut up. There's nothing divisive. There's no, this stuff that you see on the news and the stuff that you see on stupid Instagram from people sharing their stupid opinions they're just like creating these echo chambers. Like that stuff's not actually happening. If you go out and talk to people, if you go outside right now and talk to it's cold, but if there were people outside, if it was summer and you talk to like our neighbors and stuff, everyone's in a good mood. Everyone's happy. Like this stuff doesn't exist. Like all this, is there hate in the world? Yeah, of course there is. Is there people that don't like other people based on stupid stuff? Yeah, of course there is. But that's not the majority of it. So like, let's stop all this weird stuff and trying to be weird and trying to be, I don't know, like trying to be cool on social media by being like during these divisive times. Like, dude, get over it. There's no divisiveness. And you're just kind of perpetuating that. The other thing I have is I keep seeing this stuff on social media groups and business groups, and people are like, how much does it cost? Or what's the monthly cost? And I don't know. I was going to get Salon Scale or I was going to get Vish or whatever, but it costs money and blah, blah, blah. You got to stop worrying about what it costs and focus on what you get. Because I don't know how you're in business, thinking you're not going to spend money.
Everything has a cost.
It takes money to open the doors. And instead of looking at these software solutions, like for example, a color management system, we use Vish, shout out, not sponsored, call us. We use Vish. We don't look at it as what we're paying out. We look at it what we're saving per month and what it does for us. So it makes our ordering easier. It makes tracking formulas easier.
It changes the conversation we have about waste with our team more positive.
Yes, it's right. We're not complaining to our staff because they're wasting a ton of color and we can't figure out where it's going. We know exactly where it's going. Everything is in the system. So like, for example, over the pandemic, if somebody, was playing COVID, like a lot of the world decided to do, and they were like, oh, I was exposed, I can't come in. Great. Someone else can service your clients because we have all the formulas right there. And it's keeping our business going, So marketing is another one too, where they're like, I don't want to spend money on marketing. Well, then you shouldn't have a business, I guess.
Yeah, you have to spend money.
Or get really good at free marketing. There's tons of stuff you can do for free, but I don't know what to tell you if you're just going to go on a Facebook group and complain about services costing money. I mean, your services cost money. So anyway, something that we've talked about in the past a lot, or I've talked about in the past a lot, is whether you have an actual business or not. And so in 2025, now we're coming up on 5 years, almost 5 years. It'd be 5 in May, right?
Mm-hmm.
May 26th, I believe. So we're coming up on 5 years and we're like, how do we scale this bitch? Like, how do we take this to the next level? How do we grow this? We have a great team right now and we need to scale. So what we have to do is build an actual business. So I know a lot of people out there will say like, I own a business, but you really don't. And so what I mean by that is, say, for example, you have a studio or you're a booth renter. You technically own a business, right? You probably don't even have an EIN or anything like that, but you own a business. What can you do? How can you leverage that business? Can you borrow against it? I doubt it. Can you sell it? No, you don't own anything. You're a renter. You're like a subleaser in a way. And so when we talk about now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but what I'm saying is it's not a scalable business. And if you talk to anybody, they'll say the same exact thing. Anybody that says that that's a scalable business is a liar, because it simply isn't. And again, I'm not attacking, renting or anything like that. I think it's great for a lot of people. So if that's for you, great. But what do you do when you're done with it? Can you sell it? Even people with commissioned salons, a lot of them don't have an actual business. Like, if you don't have a handbook, like what are you selling? And so how do you make a business that you can sell? And we're not talking about selling our business. We're not thinking about selling our business. But what can you do to grow an actual business and create something that has actual value, that brings value to you when you're not there, which is a big one in the hair industry. Right. Because oftentimes, it's the owner that floats the business, right? And we've leveraged that as well. But the owner's wicked busy, and all the money they bring in goes right back out. And so I get it that people don't necessarily understand or become frustrated or try to blame things. Like a lot of business owners will be like, well, rental stole my employees, like whatever. No, it didn't. You don't have a business either way. And a lot of people, I know I'm jumping around, but a lot of people look at the equipment too. Your equipment is not a business.
It's worth
anybody
pennies
can
on
get
the dollar
equipment
too.
Yeah, it's already depreciated.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth anything. Like, sure, it's nice or whatever, but I can order it online.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing. I can't walk into a business that has no structure to it and operate it the way that you would if you were like trying to purchase a business. I don't want to go in and build a business. Why would I buy yours to build it? Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense. So what we're doing this year is trying to basically make more of us. And so I'll let you jump into the first, I guess, phase of that, which is education. I know education is what fills your cup, you say, mm-hmm. oftentimes, and what makes you happy and puts a smile on your face. You just smiled just mm-hmm. now. So take it away. What are we looking at? Quarter one.
So as we finished our one-on-ones, put together, Todd and I, sort of what quarter one looked like for education, what we needed, some ideas we had to bring some new stuff into Hello, and then sort of who could help facilitate these classes. We talk all the time. I educate all the time, all over the world in a sense. And I don't want it to always be me. And it would be really fun to build some other like educators in our salon to help do all the things. And I think there's something to be said for our staff to hear from different people. Like what I bring to the table versus what some of our other staff does. They're similar, but different things, and the way you say it and the way you deliver it is different. So people take differently when they hear it from different people. Also, we felt like if I'm not in there 24/7, and who does the staff look to? So we need to create kind of other people. And we felt like through this outlet of education, if they're in there educating and teaching a class, then automatically they're going to be viewed differently. So we could say, hey, we want you to view these people a certain way. But if they're not doing the steps to make themselves actually viewed like that by our staff, then it doesn't matter. They're just words. Cool. Or you give them a title. Cool. It means nothing. Literally, it means shit. So what we decided was rather than give out titles or tell you to look up to these people when we're not here, let's put them in roles in front of the staff so that they're just viewed that way. I always say when something organically develops, it has the most amount of strength. But when you push it, a lot of times it falls flat. So in this case, we laid out, okay, what are the strengths of some of the people in here that can help lead some classes? And it was clear as day at the beginning of what we wanted to do. One of the first things we wanted to work on was blow drying. Blow drying has become this really big thing. We're seeing this marketing of blow dry bars. And I think clients forget they can go to their own stylist for a great, probably more amazing blow dry than they can at a blow dry bar. But when you're just told the blow dry bar sells you blow dries, then you just think, I got to go to a blow dry bar. So we're going to market in this first quarter that our staff can blow dry hair. And how do we get in front of all of these clients? Well, first we're going to do is elevate their blow drying styling game, which not only creates a great service for our menu that we can expand, but also any work they're doing is going to now be elevated. Anything, a haircut, a color, when they finish that hair, it's going to be a more elevated experience. And we're looking this year to really elevate all of the experiences that our clients have under Hello Hair Co. So we have 2 people that actually work part-time at a blow dry bar. So Lauren and Gianna will head up the class. We went through a list with Todd and I of some supplies that will help elevate that game, some consultation portion to styling that will help elevate it even more. And then now we've put into March, we'll start our first class, and Todd will follow that up with a blog post. So it starts to kind of market. We'll have the resources. All of our staff gets trained, and now they can give better finish work. And then we'll market it now to the clients. We're also coming into Updo season, right? There's a lot of stuff happening with that. So I have asked Lauren to head up an Updo class. It is something I have run for the last 4, maybe 5 years. And I'm there to help facilitate whatever they need, but I want to be in the background. They're leading this class with my support. So she will lead that up. So that is 2 parts in March. We come into April. Gianna will help lead a hair extension class, again, with my support. Some of it will be to refine some people that are newer into extensions, and it will be for some people, their next part to start dabbling in that and see if they can offer that as a service. To backtrack, I guess in February, I will lead up, this will be from me, a blonding class. And it's something that some of the staff was looking to outsource. And I was just kind of like, I can teach you a lot of stuff that's going on right now. And if you want to outsource this, you go right ahead. But I'm happy to do some one-on-one work with you or some kind of small group work. So we will lead into February.
What do you mean?
What?
When you say outsource, what do you mean?
They were going to take a class from someone else that was coming into town. They were looking at kind of different influencers that were coming into like Manchester or North Andover or whatever. So I was like, you can do that and pay that amount of money. And it was just for a demo. I'm like, or we can get together and I'll do a demo, you do the hands-on portion, and you truly can take something out of that. And all of them were like, I would rather do that if you don't mind. So starting that in February, which will be really
nice.
Cool. So that is our first quarter into my goal was, which I had said to Todd, was to kind of heavy load this first quarter with education so that as the nicer weather comes, I talked about in my opening take about the snow and the weather here in New England, it's just crappy out. So why not like learn a bunch of stuff and get excited and inspired and get ready to do great hair? So when we hit spring or summer and you want to enjoy your days off and not come in for like learning education, you've already got the tools that we're looking for. But we will actually, right before spring hits, Kayla is going to lead a balayage class with some techniques that she thinks could really help spring and summer hair for those blondes that are coming in. And then we'll go into the fall and we're working on bringing in an independent educator to run a curly hair cutting class. So that really sets up our team for ways for them to build into what their life already holds. Now they know the dates. Like clear these out. If these are important to you, we're bringing that in. It's all paid for. Everything's taken care of. You just have to show up and wear your learning hat. But also it speaks to our core values. One of our core values is education. So you can have a mission, a vision, a core value, but if you don't do shit with it, you've got nothing. You just have writing on a wall or writing on a piece of paper. So it's really important for Todd and I to make sure the staff realizes that the things that we stand for are the things that we deliver. And now we use Slack to communicate. So all of our education for this year, it doesn't mean that more won't come up, but there's a layout of stuff that to me says we say we do these things and we're actually doing these things. And the people that have or are going to lead some of these classes, they are really, really excited to take on this role and help develop the team as a whole.
So put people in positions to succeed.
Yes. That would be the short part of it.
Could have just said that. Yeah.
I'd rather talk a lot of words. Hopefully you all
That's
enjoyed
all
me
good.
talking about all the things, because that's what I like to do.
It's also something that builds the team, and it creates culture within your business, because a lot of people will say, like, we have the best culture. Like, what do you mean? How are you defining that? What are you talking about? And so what we do is we try to put people in positions that excite them and that they want to do, rather than, like you said, rather than being like, oh, I have a salon coordinator or I have a manager or whatever. That's all cool. But what does that do for your business? Again, we're trying to think long term for this business, because we want to do other things. This isn't like owning a salon is not my end goal. I don't know if people realize that. It's been a lot of fun. I really like it. We just re-upped. So we're in it for the long run, but it's not the last thing I want to do with my life. You know what I mean? I want to accomplish other things and build other things. But if we don't get this to where it can operate without Jen and I there constantly, then it's not going to allow us or afford us the time to do those other things. It's like you want to replace yourself. I learned this from a past business mentor, and he said low level tasks, you want to replace yourself as fast as possible. So what I mean by that for people listening is, say that say you have cleaning that you need to do. And maybe in the beginning you start off and you're like, money's tight, and so I'll just do the cleaning. And so you're doing the cleaning. Well, eventually what happens is you want to pass that off so that it frees your time up. And you're going to say, well, how much does it cost to hire a cleaner? Well, I told you in the beginning, you should be looking at what you get out of it, not what it costs. So what you need to look at is the fact that you now have 5 hours a week, or whatever it takes you, 10 hours, 1 hour, whatever it is. You have that time back that you can work on higher level tasks. You can do the things that only the owner of the business could do. You can steer the ship, essentially. You can do the things like your marketing, your newsletters, your blog posts, all that stuff that needs to get done
To help
to
grow your
grow your
business.
business is what you can actually do now, because you have the time for it. And even some of that stuff you could even sub out if you wanted to. But cleaning is an easy example, because you can teach somebody how you want them to clean, and then they can execute that. And so, we have a great system at our salon for cleaning. The deep cleans weekly or bi-weekly, or however often she does it, which is great. We tried like cleaning companies in the past, and it hasn't worked out. It's not on our level, and there's always miscommunications and things. But so we have an in-house stylist now that helps with the cleaning. We pass that off. She really enjoys it. So it's a great way for her to make some extra money. It's a great way to take those things off of our plate, so that, again, we can sit down and record these podcasts, or we can market, or whatever we have to do. What else could people get off their plate? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Everyone's going to have different stuff, but the big thing is trying to replace yourself and trying to elevate yourself to higher level tasks as quick as possible. And again, it goes back to a lot of like pre-planning. Like, you need a handbook, you need policies, you need systems in place. If you don't have that stuff, no one knows what's going on, and you're constantly putting out fires. That's just going to take you right back into the business. And I have a feeling from reading a lot of stuff online that that's where the majority of commission salon owners are, and just being sucked back into their business. And yeah, it seems like it's just like almost like a hamster wheel.
Right.
Like, they're like, things are going good, and then someone left, and now I have to go in and I have to take more clients, and you're not really replacing yourself. There's no, you have to keep going forward. Like, it's not going to be good enough, like what you did. So hopefully you're not going to do that again. But either way, what else, Jen? Anything else?
I would say right now that's our main focus. It's all laid out and pretty much created. All the stuff's ready to go. So we can always touch base on how everything starts to go as like we do each class, right?
Yeah, definitely. You mean for the podcast?
Yeah. I think the biggest takeaway is sort of what I said. And
Those last two episodes we had on meetings, for some reason, I thought they were going to be like boring, but they performed very well. They got a lot of downloads and a lot of traction. So I would imagine people are curious about what we're up to
well,
because
it's real
it seemed to
stuff.
be. Yeah, we're just talking about what we're doing day to day
Yeah,
in the
I think
business.
my takeaway too, I mean, obviously, as we talk about all the time, education is so important to me, and I love educating. I actually think I think there's two parts here. I think it'll be great for the team to see me, who they always see in an educator role, taking a class by our staff. That says so much without saying anything. And I think for them to be like, wow, I'm learning with Jen, like next to her, like we're both learning. Like I want Lauren and Gianna to make me a better hair finisher. I want to be better at blow drying. And I know they can teach me stuff that I'm not aware of. Whether I'm already doing it and it creates an awareness or it's something new, they're going to teach me. And I think for our staff to see me being taught will be like, whoa, you're never above learning, right? So that's one thing that I think is really important. Sometimes you should take the class with your staff. I have taught a lot of classes where the two owners who do hair are out back doing whatever they're doing. They're not part of their team. And there's something they could be learning, whether it's something about their team or about what I'm teaching. It doesn't matter. They're in the back doing stuff that is not important at that moment.
They already know everything.
Yeah. So and it just
Or I've noticed that owners don't want to appear like they don't know
right.
something.
That sets a tone.
So they'll
That's your
put you in
culture.
front of the class, and then I've seen this before. They'll put you in front of a class, or they'll put another educator in front of the class, and then they'll talk over the educator
Yep.
to try to like get their points in to prove to people that they know what's going on. So basically, what they're doing is missing out on an opportunity to learn.
I've had that
Because you can
happen.
learn from anybody.
Yes.
You can learn from anybody. You can learn from somebody that's in hair school.
Yeah.
You can learn something.
There's a
from them. And
perspective always to be taken.
even if it's not about hair,
Right.
you can learn from anybody at any time.
I agree.
You know, that's why last year one of my things was to have more conversations with people. So I'll stop all the time. I'll go to our dump. I'll have a conversation with somebody there or at the grocery store or whatever, because it you never know. Like there's so much information out there and there's so many things to experience. So when you try to appear like I'm too cool for this, which is basically what you're doing. Not only are you wrong, but you're also missing like major opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And then my other takeaway from what I was talking about with the education, which you kind of touched upon, is I think we see in these groups a lot of times, like they're like, I need more leadership in my salon. I need to be able kind of to focus on growing the business, not be in the business. And so what they do is, by default, because they see everyone else doing it, is they hand out titles. And what I said earlier is that title means nothing. It's just words. So rather than hand out titles, you have to find your people, what they're good at and what they can contribute to the team and to the business, and make them feel like important and empowered and feel confident and feel like they're actually doing something within the business, not just wearing a title. We've had a lot of people through times be like, I could help manage, I could do this, but it would just be a title. And if no one sees you as that level, then it does no good, but probably cause some negativity in your business. So Todd's and our approach is, let's find what some of these people that have been with us for a long time, what are they good at? Are they interested in helping behind the scenes? Because some people may not be interested, even though we see something in them. I can't want more for people if they don't want it for themselves. But, when we approach like, hey, are you interested in this? And then people came like, I'd love to do this. I'd love to do that. Would be so much fun for me. And then before you know it, they're, like I said, organically growing within our business, and they're getting viewed as just different parts of like what they can do really good. And people will look at them as somewhat of leaders and want to learn from them. And then before you know it, you just have this really great kind of snowball effect of people that are coming in and are being looked up to, and you didn't have to say anything. You just created it.
True story. All right. I think that's good. Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you guys next week. If you have questions, reach out. If you want to get on our email list, do that. You can click one of the buttons in the links in the show notes. Yeah, the emails.
They're good.
And then I think that's it.
Okay.
So we'll talk next week. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.